Hello everyone, it's me again, Happy Jen. I'm here today to talk about a little personal revelation that I had yesterday, and I hope that this will help you also in your journey. So, I realized yesterday, after a really rough day, that I was stuck in an energetic pattern of a fear of failure, and a fear of disappointment that was keeping me from being able to manifest basically anything in my life. It was sort of like a revelation where I was like, breaking down crying, saying to my wife, oh my God, I don't understand why everything is just feeling like it's wrong right this second, when I am really, every day trying so hard to be the best person that I can be. So I know all of these things about how to manifest and energy and ascension and how to stay on track and be activated and what's your mission, and pretty much overflowing my brain with knowledge, but not actually implementing the things that I have learned. So feeling like I'm trying so hard, but it's still just not happening in my life. So maybe you're experiencing this same aspect where you are, you feel like you're awakened and you're connected. You might be a psychic or a medium, you might not be. You do all of these things every day to just try to constantly stay positive and constantly be a nice person, and whether it be your family or your friends or your coworkers or your customers or your guests or whatever it is you do for a living, your partner, it's just not working. They're just not working out the way that you want them to, the way that you're envisioning them in your head. So it kind of brought me back all the way to when I was a little girl. My father was a heroin addict and just a very disappointing human being in general. Even before heroin, he was a gambler and just a very selfish person who would basically take his entire paycheck and go and spend it on the poker machine, or I don't really know what he was doing. I would say get drunk and get high all weekend and then come back home on, say, Monday and not have any money to pay the rent and not have any food in the fridge and just not care about us. And what I would do ever since I was a very little girl, about 4 years old probably, is go through this super positive phase. I don't know, every single time Friday would come, basically, I would spend my entire evening, trying to make my mother feel better and telling her and my sister when she was born that it's okay and he'll come home and we'll find him and he's going to have the money. And then, even as the next day would come and he still wouldn't come home, I would still believe that it's okay, he's going to come through. Something's gonna happen, and I would just be the one that's just constantly being like, it's gonna happen, we're gonna be okay, everything's fine, everyone loves us, everything's always gonna be provided for. And I did that with everything in my life, and I just realized yesterday, like, what if I'm still doing this? What if I'm still just being so positive and always looking so forward and always being so happy and thinking that everything's going to be okay and everything's going to work out for me, because that's what I think and or know that I'm supposed to do in order to manifest these things. In order to get the outcome that I want, I have to think as if, and I have to keep this high energy. But what's actually happening is that deep down inside of me, in places that don't register in my brain, there is an energetic trap pattern that I'm caught in, where I taught myself as a child, I guess, that no matter what I did, there was going to be a disappointing outcome. So as I grew up, I carried over that energetic pattern and that attitude of just needing to be positive and just always, being optimistic and thinking that things are going to work out. I carried it into every aspect of my life. So, relationships, thinking people will change. If I just think, positively about them, or if I just keep being so nice to them, eventually they're going to see how much I love them. Eventually they're going to change and they're going to care. And I just keep on imagining this person as the person that I want them to be instead of who they actually are. And what I was still doing is being caught in that pattern, even though I'm telling myself in my brain and my heart that they could change or that they're better than they're acting. Inside, I feel like energetically, deep inside, I was still always prepared for the disappointment that will come from these individuals, whether they be friends or partners or family members. And I hate to say it, but they always prove me right. Now, not to say that we're not all human and we are not all going to disappoint people, because we are, but I mean like on a large scale of like a person who is physically abusive to me, who I believe still loves me and will change, or a friend who is using me, and just an opportunist who's always around for their own benefit, and me still believing in some way, shape, or form I'm teaching this person or I'm helping this person, or, in the long run, they're going to be better because of me somehow, and my interaction with them. So that kid just kept carrying over, but in the long run, those people, they would always be such a disappointment, and it was my fault, in a way, for one, not being realistic, and two, not listening to that little voice that's really deep inside of you, because that is where you're going to find out whether things are actually working for you or not. So that little voice deep inside of me is always there somewhere, and it's kind of like your brain stuffs it down, your heart stuffs it down. You tell yourself it is what you want it to be, and it's not actually what you want it to be. So then I felt like I was caught in this paradox of, do I stop doing this? How do I stop being who I am? And just, no matter what's overwhelming me in my life, like no matter what's happening and how everything seems to fall apart at once, I'm still in this mental, optimism circle where I'm like, it's okay, it's always going to be okay, it's always going to be okay, it's always going to be fine, everything's always going to work out, there's always going to be food, there's always going to be someone to live with, there's always going to be someone to help us. And the reality is, yes, I am always going to be okay, but really, I'm keeping myself in a box that I'm ready to get out of. And yesterday was just the tipping point. So it was like I had this experience with one of my guests, because I'm in the food service industry as well, and she was just the most wretched person that I've ever encountered in my life, like of 20 years of doing this. She was just so wretched and so evil, and I'm stuck on this thing where it's my responsibility to make other people happy, and it's my responsibility to show other people how to be. And if I just keep being so nice to this person, if I just keep sending my love to this person, they are going to see it, and they're going to feel it, and they're going to change. And it's taking me 34 years to realize that that isn't true. You are not even here for that. We're not supposed to be doing that. I am here to be a light. You are here to be a light. But that doesn't mean that it's our job to go into every dark soul there is and be the light for that dark soul. We are here, we hold our light, and we do what we're supposed to do, and others can look at us as an example, and others can learn from us, but that doesn't mean that it is solely our responsibility to change those people and to help those people change. And it especially doesn't mean that you need to take it to heart when it doesn't happen, because that's really what it is. Some people might refer to it as a control freak or something like that, a form of control freak. But that's basically what I do. I think if I just be so good to someone, that they're going to see it eventually and appreciate it and change and have this shift in their perspective that they might not actually be ready for, or they might have chosen that they're never going to have that. And it just took me so long to realize that I don't have to do that, and also that this is partially my own fault for having this energetic pattern, within me. So it definitely goes into various aspects, like we mentioned, the issue with my father or the issue at work, or let's say I'm also at this current juncture having some car problems as well. It's like every insane thing that could happen to my car has been happening. Like my alarm system went off late at night the other night for no reason, and it would not shut off no matter what I did, and it just kept going and going and going and going and going. And I live in an apartment complex, and I really thought that they were going to probably, kill us because they can't sleep for work tomorrow. And that's all I could think about was every single person in the entire complex and how upset they probably were with me because my car was irrationally acting out and I had no way to make it stop. And it kind of was just like another tipping point, another thing to add into this that just basically shit will pile up until you get it. So that was one of the things. It's like every light's on in my car, and every other day there's a new thing that's wrong with it. And then, so I just had a breakdown, like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not getting this? How can I be so great if this, lady's evil to me, or my mom won't call me, or, my car is acting up, or I don't have enough money to pay for this thing that I need, But that's not the right way to look at it, for one, and for two, it's what made me realize that I am trapped in this energetic pattern. So no matter what I'm saying or doing, in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking, I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to be disappointed by everyone, basically, and everything. And that somewhere deep down inside of me has been blocking me from all of these things. And in reality, the truth is, it just hasn't been the right time. The most traumatic thing is, trying to get pregnant. We've talked about this in some other videos, but I've been trying on and off for a few years, and I just started trying again. This will be my 3rd month in a row, and I just have this mindset that if it's meant to be, which I know it is, it would happen on the first try, and it didn't happen on the first try. And every time I talk to someone who tells me they did it and it happened on the first try, I just get more and more isolated, and I just feel more and more like a disappointment, and I feel like I'm failing at this, and I'm just doing something to screw myself over. And why, if I am as good as I think I am, or if I'm trying as hard as I think I am, why can I still not attain these things? Why do I still not have this? Why am I being punished? No, I'm not. I don't even look at things on that level, but yet I'm still feeling that way. So it's like all this knowledge that I'm incorporating and learning, I'm not actually implementing it in my mind and in my feelings and in my life. So it goes back to when my teacher told me about lying to yourself. It's like every day I'm telling myself a new lie to get through that situation, or to the next day, and there's no reason to do that. The truth is, it wasn't the right time for any of these things. For any friendship that didn't work out, for any relationship that might have gone bad, for any car issues or money issues or jobs that I have that I don't like, or the fact that I haven't had a baby yet. This just wasn't the right time. That's all that it was. It wasn't the right time. And it could be because I wasn't ready energetically. And so now I know in my heart it's the right time. It's the right time for all of this. It's time for me to be happy. It's time for me to create my baby. It's time for me to, I guess this is I can extend outward towards more things than just an actual physical baby, but create my baby of my books. They're ready to come out. My gifts or of mediumship or healing, they're ready to be shared with the world. I'm ready to do all of the things that I have been telling myself all of this time, one excuse or another, of how I'm not ready or not worthy or various aspects. I literally had the epiphany yesterday that now is the time. That was all just not the right time. Now is the right time. And so what I need to do, instead of being trapped in that perspective, is shift my perspective energetically to, one, just being eternally grateful all the time. And really grateful, not actually disappointed in what didn't happen, but grateful for what did happen. Just grateful, period. And also, two, ready you know, energetically to accept whatever's coming my way, because I know that it is. So if I could just let go of this, internal fear of disappointment and internal fear of failure, and just shift my perspective, even if I don't know how to do it, physically or in this moment, I know steps that I can take to help me get to that point. And that's what I'll have to do. Affirmations, artwork if I have to, guided meditations, just spending more time by myself or more time in nature and allowing myself to connect to myself, to actually be in alignment with the things that I want, with the things that I'm going to have, with the things that I'm going to do. So if you are stuck in a rut where you feel like you're awakened and you know what you should do, but it's just not happening for you, if you're overwhelmed with all kinds of bad things, or just things happening to you that you don't want, where things aren't going the way you want, try thinking about it a little bit harder and try coming from a totally different perspective. Try coming from the perspective of the universe loves and accepts you the way that you are. The universe wants to provide for you because it's infinite abundance. And you are part of the universe, and therefore you already are in tune with it. You already are infinite abundance, but you, being the creator that you are, us being the co-creators that we are, we're literally creating with our thoughts and our minds and our attitudes towards ourselves and others. So do whatever you have to do to shift your perspective so that you now love yourself, accept yourself, are patient with yourself. And just try to believe that all of those things that you always wanted and couldn't have, and everything that went wrong and everything that failed and crashed and fell down on you, it just wasn't the right time. And guess how lucky you are that now is the right time. So now that we know this, let's get excited. Let's do the things we need to do. Let's prepare. Let's act as if. I love you guys. I hope this helps, and I can't wait to hear from you.